people? Or?
Yes.
Let's get up, I'll lead it
Okay. For the record,
for the record.
because we're being recorded.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody. All right. We already know the roll call. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Let's get them all in there. Did everybody get a chance to look at them? Debbie just gave them to me, so. No, you didn't give them to me. Oh, yes, you did. Scan them over, and when you guys make a motion.
I'll move to approve.
You got a second out of you, Mandy?
Yes.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Special presentations. Do we got a special presentation?
No.
He didn't show, huh?
Oh, there was coming? Oh,
Jim.
from the,
Yeah.
The mixed tea? Is that what that
Yeah,
was?
mixed tea. All right. Got some oral communications going on. I don't see anybody. Vinny, you have anything to say?
No, I thought Jim would be here, and I talked to Samantha.
Okay.
Another thing of the tin whistle.
Yeah, that's down the
That's on the
agenda, but
agenda.
yeah. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay, let's get into the new business, the annual block of reservation groups, and we're here. Came to mind here about authorizing, we're having a problem with the Exchange Club, or is it,
Yes.
yeah, Exchange Clubs, they're not using all 4 of their times, or it's hit and miss, or what?
It's hit and miss, and it's consistently 2 or 3, not 4.
Ah,
I spoke to Beth Apodaca, who's the president of the Exchange Club, and made her aware of the concern. The MOU we have with the Exchange Club allows us to get some flexibility, and basically, they're not using the 4. We hear often that Wednesdays, that's prime time that they have. So it'd be nice if we could reduce them to 3 right now, and if they can't hold the 3, then we'll come back to the committee to go to 2.
yeah, I'm in favor of dropping it down to 3, and 2 if need be, but we can review it in 6 months, or
Yeah.
our next meeting, which is about 12 weeks,
Okay?
should we have one.
Now you will, because we're gonna review it, so.
Do we have to do these individually?
You could make a motion and a second on that one, and then go to the 10 whistles if that's a broader
Let's do
conversation.
that, take them one at a time.
Yeah.
Exchange Club, any motions to,
I motion to reduce the tea times to 3. I'm sorry.
good? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, that wasn't tough. Now, the tin whistle situation. Years ago, we used to have a tin whistle on Fridays, and they had some block times that were set aside for the club members to come in, and they had a little choose-up type of thing. And it worked out, it was very well received, and they had a lot of fun doing it. And actually kept the guys around because they used to have to draw for partners, so they'd go into the bar and have a few drinks while they waited around to see who their partner was going to be. So it might be a little boon for Wedgwood as well. But
You are the 10 whistles, what project? Just
it's just a name given to a group of guys. I think they're asking Vinnie for what, 6 times?
I didn't know the number, but
oh, yes.
it used to be 10, which right now would be a lot
Yeah.
to where.
A
we're already
standing
giving
block
up.
reservation of 6 tea times on Fridays beginning no later than 10 a.m.
Is it just part of the men's club?
Yeah,
It would just be
basically.
men's club members. Now,
Yeah.
the problem now is the course is so busy that you're gonna get more people complaining they can't get a tee time on top of what they can't get now. So that's the drawback
Yeah,
of the increased complaints of difficulty getting times, especially on a Friday.
What I understand, this is Derek Dusler, what they're doing now is basically everybody's logging on and trying to get that kind of block at 10 a.m.
yeah,
And then they're just hosting the 10 whistles kind of in a pseudo fashion, if you will. This would allow them the pro shop to block it out for them. They still have to pay for the tee times. If they don't use the tee times, they're still on the hook for paying for the tee time and the fee that is applicable at the time of play.
well, how's that work? Who's taking on the responsibility and putting up the card to be charged in case they don't have enough?
So part of this would be, we would potentially have to strike an agreement. We did this with the men's club, that if the men's club isn't using their tee times, they're on the hook for it and they're gonna be charged. Whether that's somebody's personal credit card or it's a bill that gets sent to them,
Yeah.
they will be charged for it.
Vinny, are they taking 60 times right now? Are they booking 60 times? Or-
They are not, I think one gentleman gets 2 and another couple guys get maybe 1 or 2, so they're like maybe 4 or 5 tee times right now. But the thing is, they hardly ever get them back to back to back. And that's
Yeah,
the difficult thing, and also, on both sides, you see both sides of the story of people who can't get times, but they get times. And then the other topic is, once people see that, they'll go, well, how come my group doesn't get 6 tee times? And then we have to take on that, which I understand because they have an agreement with the city to get those 6 times where other groups don't. But you probably will receive a lot of complaints of, I can't get tee times anymore on Fridays.
it's okay, I can't get them on Saturday.
Yeah.
I suppose my question is, they're asking for 6 tee times, but you're saying they're not really getting 6 at the moment. So why would we give them 6 if they're only using 4?
Well,
I think that's all they can get.
You can't get the other 2. But
The committee could though, you guys could say, let's start with 4.
to see if they fill it.
Yeah, start there and see how their use goes, and if they're able to consistently fill them. And I mean, similar to the Exchange Club, they've got 4 and we're reducing, so start with 4 for them, and if we need to expand, we can come back and
And
expand.
then it kind of goes back to a performance level too. If they're keeping up with the pace of play and we don't get any complaints, then they can get 1 or 2 more tee times. It kind of incentivize them.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea, yeah, they must keep up with the pace
Yeah.
of play.
So is it something that, like, anybody is not part of the men's club
Yeah,
would show up on a Friday morning and
Yeah.
your name in the hat or whatever, like one of the spots?
the way it used to work, I haven't played in it in 15 years or so, but.
That's how I think it still works that way.
Yeah.
Last time I talked to Derek, yes.
So what would happen is, then he would block out the 4 tee times and then people would just come in and take them when they came in? Or would they have to book them online?
So the last time we had the tin whistle, there was always a captain assigned to each group, so he would set up his own group. And they would come in and give us the names that day. And then occasionally you might get 1 or 2 people walking in and be like, hey, is there room in the tin whistle? You'd be able to squeeze them in. But the last time we had it, there was 10 groups that were almost all fivesomes. Well, we don't have fivesomes anymore, but each group was assigned like a captain that was in charge of filling his group.
Well, so, as I remember, we had somebody in there, in the bar area, hey, I want to play in the tin whistle, and you'd throw them $5 and they'd write your name down. You above 14 or below or whatever, and you'd be in this group, and then at the end, they draw from each side for a best ball type of thing. And that's how they went about doing it, but I don't know how it works right now.
There's really just another opportunity to give men from the men's club some more tee times that are assured to the women. Is that what we're saying?
Pretty much.
Whenever you can see it.
How many days do they have right now? Wednesdays,
Twice.
Saturdays?
Wednesdays and Saturdays, twice a month.
Wednesday, Friday,
3
and
days?
Saturday.
Yeah, 3 days
First-
already.
First Wednesday, second Saturday, third Friday. 3 times a month.
You have the option to also model out weekly. I mean, the committee could say, we're gonna give you one more Friday a month.
Yeah.
You could also say not on Fridays. You could also go later in the afternoon.
What would be a quieter day?
There is none.
Yeah, there's,
Anything on
yeah,
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah,
Quieter.
there isn't.
yeah, that would be a tough, I would say maybe Wednesday, but they're all busy, and then some of those guys aren't gonna be able to play on a Wednesday, so it was,
Wednesday's the Exchange Club, which we
Yeah.
have an issue with already.
yeah, it's
What do
a
you
good
think?
problem to have.
Well, I see your point. I mean, we're not shoving the girls out there.
But I mean, the girls aren't saying we want more times
Yeah.
either, so I mean, it's not like we're taking, I'm just
I mean, we-
making a point.
like Samantha says, I think we could, give them 4 or 5 and see how it goes. And if they feel it, fine. If there's extras or something, we can think about expanding it. And if it doesn't work that well and we get a whole bunch of complaints on it, we can just cut it off.
Maybe a trial run,
Okay?
is it for a trial run?
Well, you want that every Friday or 2 Fridays a month? The men's club already gets a Friday. So,
Well, you know what, I wouldn't do it at the Friday tournament, that's self-defeating, so if you want to make it 2 or 3, there's no purpose to have it 4 Fridays. You already got one on a Friday. 3rd Friday, is it, Vinnie?
Yeah,
so it sounds like you're leaning towards 2 Fridays a month, 4 tea times.
Yeah,
Yes,
that would be my take on
That
it.
seems reasonable.
I think so.
Okay?
Give me a little,
I motion.
there we go, need a motion.
I motion that we give them 2 Fridays a month, 4 tea times for the tin whistles.
Okay,
One second.
Mark second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
2 times, 3 times. Hey, we're moving it now. Uh-oh, 3rd quarter golf activity. Jordan, what's a golf activity?
Golf activity, yeah, we're just dealing with immense amount of play. We're getting ready for aeration next following week in 2 weeks.
13, 14,
Yeah, 13th, 14th. So
14, 15?
yeah, it's coming up. So we're not really diving into any big projects at that time. Because we're getting ready for aeration, and then after aeration, it's pretty much full on growing season. We're just trying to keep up with our kikuyu grass. So not much really going on.
Looks like a 10% increase and 19% increase in the revenue.
Yeah, we're getting more and more play quarterly, which I don't know how that's possible. So
Night lights.
I don't. Yeah. So I mean,
I see you off at 4 o'clock.
yeah.
I do have a question. I couldn't figure out the percent change on the number of private carts when it was went from 38 to 38 and it went down 1. How's it go down 1% if the numbers don't change?
I think it's just a. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't.
we've had a couple people not renew due to age, and we're getting a lot, lately we're getting a lot more people buying carts and registering them, so. Seems like we have a lot more. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it definitely wasn't, it isn't in the 20s. I think it's more than that now. More in the 30s or 40s.
No, they got 38.
38,
Yeah.
it says, yeah.
There's a cap on that, though, I think.
Yeah, but I think it was like 100 or
Oh,
something.
that's
Yeah.
really very
So
many.
long ago, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's not very many.
I thought 38 was a hard number to get to, but we got there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Staff communication.
I'm gonna give you a quick update on the master plan. So,
Good.
Rick and Ben sat on a panel with some really incredible consulting firms that applied to participate in our master plan. And the panel decided to go forward with THK. They are a golf firm out of Colorado, and their golf course architect lead is Andy Staples. Dan Conway is the president of THK, and he'll be the lead consultant managing what is really the in-house operations, the financial side, the banquets, the contracts, all of those elements. And Andy Staples will be supporting Jordan's team on the course and the greens and any type of reconstruction recommended for the course itself. I'm finally at the final hurdle of the agreement getting into place. So I would look forward to a kickoff meeting in the next couple of weeks at the staff level, and then part of that, then we'll move into a timeline for stakeholder meetings, and that would include typically meetings with each committee member in a 2x2 form. It will also include public meetings as well at the golf course and on site. We'll do a lot of advertising and want to get as much feedback as we can. So the process should take about 9 months to up to a year, but we do want to make sure we touch all the areas and get in contact with everybody, and that includes the neighbors along the course as well, for a very inclusive process.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Right.
Items from the committee members, the Greens Committee, well, Ben isn't here to report on that for me, but going through his notes, we did a course review last February the 20th, and Jordan was there and Randy was there. We met in the clubhouse for a while and talked about the condition of the course, which was excellent. You've got notes here, kind of going over what some of the items were that we discussed. I'm sure you can all read those. Ben I talked to him yesterday as well, and he had an issue, Jordan, he wanted an explanation, as I do too, of the path behind 8, what is that for? That made from the green to the tee?
Just because that is the path where everybody walks and there's tons of tree roots coming up. So we eliminate, like, it's a hazard. Like,
Oh,
and grass was never ever going to grow there because, you know, those eucalyptus trees just steal all the moisture.
Mhm.
So we decided just to build a path that was safe, looks clean. That was kind of our thought with that.
By the way, I managed to hit it Saturday. Playoff.
Yeah, I mean it's hard pen anyway, so if you hit it and you get relief from it too, if you want.
Oh, well, that's.
Not my group.
You can play it as is, or you can get relief from that too.
Yeah, okay. The other things that I mentioned down, I take notes as I go around and play, but the cart path and maintenance road on 18, that's really getting bad, as number 17 is.
Yep.
At McAdam. Is any short-term plans of getting that fixed?
Yeah, I mean any short-term plan is expensive, and you know we're kind of in limbo with this master plan. You know we don't want to throw an $80,000 Band-Aid on something. You know if the master plan comes through, and you know we're changing everything around because you know for us to do anything quickly and inexpensive, it's not going to be very good and long lasting. So.
Well, now that we're kind of blended with the city, couldn't we use, and the fact that 18 is a maintenance access, couldn't we use their facilities to,
Yeah, I'll be up to Randy. I can mention something to him about that,
I will.
for sure.
Where are you talking about on 18?
18, the cart path from the T all the way down. That's actually a maintenance road. It's not a cart path.
Oh,
It
okay.
doesn't become a cart path until you slide down the thing. But they actually use it from the parking lot to get up to the, where
The farm?
yeah, the little
Yeah.
farm area and all that stuff. But, yeah, we need, even if, I was thinking about it, even if we did something like you did on behind 8, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought about the rain and making gutter strips down it or something, wouldn't that?
Yeah, yeah, DG, like, that took a ridiculous amount of DG behind 8. Like, I was shocked how much it took. Like,
Oh,
it was
really?
like 4 truckloads, so.
Oh my gosh.
Which isn't cheap, you know, to actually pack it down and get it looking nice. But I mean, I am looking at some other options. There's some grass that might work. I'm looking at Wilshire Country Club. They're doing a redesign and they're taking out their DG paths and putting in buffalo grass.
Huh.
So I'm kind of interested in that, but I want somebody else to do it first before I do it. But yeah, I was talking to their superintendent at a meeting the other week, and that's what they're doing. They're hosting an LPGA event
They just, yeah.
this week or last week.
Last week.
Yeah, so that's part of their master plan. Their kind of redesign or restoration they're doing at Wilshire. So I thought that was interesting. So that's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. If that could be an option, if it works for them. So.
Just took all the credits, the tax credits for taking all that grass out, putting DG in another.
Yeah, because they're putting a lot of, it's called buffalo grass, like everywhere. You know how some people are doing, or they did in the past, they did wood chips
Mhm.
instead of turf, which I don't like. I never liked that. So, yeah, it could be an interesting new trend. So I'll be following that.
I have a couple of questions, Jordan. On 15, are you looking at the Silver Teeth?
Yep, we are. Actually, I'm working with Randy and Rick from the city, and the golf course exposed that path that comes down. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw us working over there as much as we could,
I have
just to see
seen.
where it goes.
Yeah.
There are some safety measures, and we don't really think the logistics for us to make a roundabout at the bottom is going to work. However, we are thinking about bringing kind of a roundabout where people can park their carts, and then building a proper set of stairs, a concrete set of stairs down
Oh, right.
for access.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the option that we are probably going with.
And are you thinking you actually will do it this coming year, or when do you?
The timing is to be determined. We're still, we're still looking at the logistics, but we did have a contractor, and he said, for what I originally wanted, he was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to. It's going to be way too expensive, and it's probably not even feasible with the amount of earth that they'd have to bring in to raise it up, so we can safely.
Well,
have
then
people park their
would
cars.
just drive right across anyway.
Well, yeah, because
Then
that's
they
part of
would
the
go
deal
across.
too, is that it has to be a high enough curb with fencing even, so that people aren't driving on that. So we kind of think if we built a turnabout or like some stairs or like where people can park up top there at the entrance of that cart path that kind of goes down, that might be a more viable option for us.
Yeah. And then are you, I know you had asked me a couple of months ago, and I mentioned making permanent silver tees. I don't have any feedback from anybody saying which they would prefer, but is it possible we can sort of look at doing like 1 or 2 a year?
Yep.
Starting with 3 and 4 or something like that, and just making them more permanent
Yep.
rather than just.
Yeah, we did 6 this year.
Yes. that's
So,
great.
that's kind of our goal is to build one in-house every year. Again, that's a big part of the master plan too. So, we could be doing that all for naught. We could get a professional shaper come in and actually like blow them all up. But, for the time being, we can build one one a year, so it's not.
But you would wait to get this feedback from the master plan before you did it?
Yeah, to really tackle it, you know, just because for us to start reconstructing tee boxes with
Yeah.
9 people, middle of summer, 8 people, it's a lot. So, you know, other stuff gets neglected when we start focusing on.
I suppose I just wanted to make sure that's sort of included in the,
Oh, absolutely.
Discussions.
Yeah, I mean, when Ben and Rick can vouch that came up with every firm. They talked about that, so I think everyone is in agreement with that. So.
To make those more permanent, is that whether?
Just make them proper, like an actual proper.
Yeah.
because a lot, most of them are just.
They're just things on the ground. I know, yeah, exactly.
Quite often they're on a slope and, you know.
Yeah.
But it's nice when we have the ones that are
Yeah.
proper tee boxes that make this.
Yeah.
That's
That's
of
what it
course.
Right, right.
I think they should be closer to the tee, or cart paths too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we just need bigger tee boxes. You know, like the ones that are like sloped down. Like we should be building those up so that we can utilize all that tee space. Like on 7, 16, 18. Like
There's so many of them that where you just
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we
so
could
far
use-
away and it just drops off to nothing. Like you shop down.
yeah, like there's 12 yards that we can use for tee space.
Yeah.
So a lot of our tees. So that's part of the goal too.
I had a couple of requests from walkers that, I don't know how feasible it is, for cut a swath from the,
We did, and I have to follow my guys around to do that. I write it on the board, and they do it. They do it for a week.
you know, from the
Yeah.
tee to the start of the fairway, you know, it's like this, and they walk in the mornings, and they're wet up to their knees.
Which hole are you talking about?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we did do it, and it doesn't. You know, we just do it with a trim, or we don't do it tee
Yeah.
height, but it helps. And that's just me having to be on them, like follow them around and tell them to do it because they get, you know, they've been doing it. Some of the guys have been doing it for 30 years, and they kind of forget.
They're entrenched.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I wanted to also mention that we've noticed the markers are now shaped like golf balls. They're fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
They're
we're.
blue and white and.
They gotta get out more.
It's just.
I noticed that yesterday. I
They're
was
in the
like,
middle of the
"What is
fairway
that?"
right now.
Those other ones break and they're super expensive, so yeah, we've
I
been
know.
replacing those and they're a lot more visible.
Like
Yeah.
tee
Yeah.
markers.
No, they,
Yeah, slowly
they're
but surely.
very
Yeah, once the other ones start breaking, we got some that are lined up.
they're
and
very
going.
cute looking and they are very visible, much more visible than the others, and I think that's
Good.
really good for everyone.
Right on.
Nice.
We're talking here about the range net, or is that on a different agenda? I think it was on.
It was on the report. The driving range extension.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
So is it just the right side?
Yeah.
for now.
So-
Yeah,
Whenever I play with, I'll play whatever tee I'm playing with, whatever. And I've been playing more and more white tees like yesterday. And we were standing on the white tee, and I had no fewer than 5 balls rained down the white tee on the third tee over the top from. It was in the afternoon, so it was probably high school.
Well, I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sure. I knew I put you on speed dial. I knew it was you. But is the back net going up too? To me, that's the biggest safety issue. Is the third tee.
yeah. I mean, I just see the frequency of balls every morning on 6 and how many balls that I'm at the
There's
range.
a ton of balls on 6, but those are usually like.
Yeah, I get it. And
Whereas the
then,
ones that are like bombing, you
On
know.
the tee box.
I pick them up when I'm walking off the third tee, and I tell the guys I'm playing with, says, I really caught that warming up.
I like to play straight. I just it seems to me that it's a liability issue.
Yeah, we wanna look at that as part of the master.
yeah, they go on
plan
2 green as well. I mean,
component,
They go
we talked
on 2
about
green. Like
Yeah.
I've been on, especially in the afternoons.
yeah.
They'll come and hit on the green.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
400 yards away, whatever that is from the tee. That's you get hit by that, you get seriously.
Stop using the range, then.
I don't
It's Vinny's lessons,
think, yeah.
teaching at the ball so well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's just technology. I mean,
it is.
I know it is, but I mean, if we're gonna raise the net on the 6 side, it feels like it would make sense to do it on the back. I mean, the back to me is the bigger liability issue.
What the cost would be, but that's not a bad idea, you know, because I see them on there, I've been on the green when it's hit on the green.
Yeah,
Pretty impressed too. It's a long ways, but they do it.
We can go back and look at that if it needs to be moved forward ahead of the master plan. We're just finishing budget, so there would have to be an amendment to budget, but we can go back and look at it in the next couple months here.
okay, yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot of like liability issues around the course, but that one, every time I play, I'm like, God, I hope I survive.
Okay?
Right?
Well, the back and the side of 6 need to go up, like you're watching people hit balls all day long.
Yeah.
The back is
Dozens
important,
and
the
dozens.
6 is probably just as important. Like the-
I think it is for sure. I think somewhere though, it said that we're just planning on doing the 6 side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be great to have a dome and, you know, lights and all that, but, you know, it's all money.
You
And I
know,
think,
people
yeah.
leave the trees protect it, but then when those go down,
Yeah.
there's nothing there now. You know, when they clean them up, it's like there's no trees protecting those balls coming in, so.
Anything else to report on that? Andy, you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on with Wedgewood?
We met with Wedgewood yesterday, and many of the same issues are still the same issues. That's a surprise. And we have issues with the service in the bar, and staffing in the bar. Allowing golfers actually being aware the bar's open, because quite often it doesn't look like there's anybody there serving. So there's a lot of issues like that that they're trying to resolve. They've got new furniture coming in for both the bar and the cocktail area, and they're going to try and make it more welcoming. They're going to try and make sure there's staff there all the time, both in the snack bar and the bar, so that they're not both done in one place and nobody in the other place. And they're going to cross-train the staff. They have a new person training in the bar at the moment. They're going to try and be more visible, putting signs up. They're going to have run specials. I know they've got a little sheet they put in the window of the pro shop of the specials they run, but they're going to try and make it a little bit more official and let Samantha know, because she can send it out to the golfers so that they know it's actually special on that day. There's
That's a good idea.
yeah. The TV downstairs gets unplugged apparently, so they're going to put something on there that tries to stop people unplugging it. I don't know if it's annoying people in the range or what, but if you're going to have a TV on downstairs, there should be sports on it. I mean, to me, that's what it's there for. Something on TV, but not have it. The downstairs furniture has been hit a few times by carts, and Samantha's going to look into some planters we might be able to put there to prevent that. And then I'm going to let Samantha talk about some maintenance issues such as falling off with.
So one of the things, and before I jump into the restrooms, one of the things that was brought up was a concern about the treatment of some of the Wedgewood staff. And they've been spoken to pretty negatively, and they felt like their jobs have been threatened because people are so dissatisfied. I did reiterate to Molly and the assistant general manager that that's certainly not, we don't want staff to be uncomfortable, whether or not they're city employees or Wedgewood employees or Dave's employees. Nobody should feel uncomfortable in their place of work. So I do encourage any golfer or individual who has concerns with the operations, they should be reaching out to me or the city, not addressing that with a server at Wedgewood. So I reiterated that, and I would encourage the committee to do the same thing, which leads me into the next component a win to celebrate as the curtains are down. That is a huge hurdle. That shouldn't have been a hurdle, but it was a hurdle. So the trophy cases are now on display, and lo and behold, there have been no issues with the brides. They're okay with the trophies being up and displayed because they're getting married at a golf course. So there's no issues there. So we did issue a memo, a notice to cure, based on some violations within their lease agreement that speak to concerns about the maintenance of the restrooms. And that memo was quite lengthy and gave about 30 days to remedy the situation, or at least come up with a plan to fix it. We're still waiting, we're still in the middle of that 30-day time frame, so I'm hopeful that they'll have solutions. But do know that my goal is to continue to press them on adhering to their lease. We have very clear direction from the city council that we need to stand everybody up to the lease agreements, and that's not exclusive to Wedgewood or the golf course. So if you, the committee members or members of the public, and I've spoken to Benny and Dave about this too, if there are issues or things that are very obviously violations or concerns, I would love for them to be brought to my attention. I can't get to the course every day. I get there maybe quarterly if I'm lucky enough to go south. So I do rely on the golfers and the golf committee members to bring those to my attention, and I will attack them as soon as I hear about it. So please reach out to me if you see concerns or praise. Praise is okay too. I think that their staff are trying their best, and we want to give them that feedback. That said, their contract goes until 2027, so we want to make sure that if that's the length of the contract, we get the best service possible. And I think we need to hold them to that. So, thank you.
By the way, I was kind of upset in that last council meeting when they were rationing out that you think something you had no control over. That really irritated me, so I can see what's going on with people in the restaurant when they get abused. And there's no reason for that.
Right.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, enough of that. Well, besides the meeting, well, there's only three of us. Have you got anything to add, Mark?
Well, so Ben and I have not met recently on the finance subcommittee. I guess I had a question about, like, how regularly do we get financials? And is it part of the pack that comes?
I can include it in the packet. I can circulate the latest quarter to the committee after this meeting.
Okay,
It'll probably
that would be
Monday of next week.
helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's a general desire, because I know obviously everything's more expensive than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. And I think there's a general consensus that we want to make sure Jordan has enough money to run a golf course that gets whatever 100,000 rounds a year, whatever it gets. And it seems just on the face that if you're doing that many rounds, there should be enough money to buy the equipment that you need or hire the people you need. So I think eventually we'll talk about rates, but I think it makes sense to get a handle on the financials before we have, and really what the need is, think about it like quantitatively over the course of a year, like what are we really, like what's really strapped before we start having that. I've done some work on like all the other muni courses in the area, what the visitor rates are, what the member rates are, how far we are from that, some of the courses that we know everybody plays other than the muni around here, what those are.
Those were the rates last year.
So it would be good to get that regularly, I think.
I can circulate that to the group. And then Jordan has worked really closely with Randy on a very extensive decision package process for this budget year. They're still working out the final details of budget, but I know that equipment was a big priority for funding for the golf course, and Jordan's equipment in particular.
Jordan, are we still one short on your crew?
Yeah.
Any prospects in the wind?
I'll find out tomorrow morning, actually.
Okay.
He's trying to pass a physical, so his last shot was today. Yeah, we'll be moving forward with HR, either way, so.
Cool. Is there plans to put on some temps for the summer?
No, simply because we don't have the equipment for them. And,
But if we
you
get
know,
this-
what's that?
But if we get this other guy to fill out the crew, you probably wouldn't need the temps, would you?
No, the goal is to get rid of the temps. Like, because we had temps for the last 4 years, and honestly, it's been,
Takes more pain to train them.
yeah, just the quality that you get too. You know, and there's a disconnect with the crew, you know, because they're not getting the same benefits. But I'm trying to compensate that with wages, and then, you know, my crew gets upset that they're making more hours. So, I mean, we're trying to just get rid of that completely, so that we're just one unit, you know, just to break away from that, so. Yeah, temps are difficult. So, yeah, if we get 10, it'll be probably helpful, but, you know, the more staff we get, the more other things, you know, the more equipment we need, the more carts we need another mechanic, because the more people we have, the more stuff breaks down, you know, so. There's other things that come along with adding crew members too, like other, you know, financial needs that we need, other than just salaries that go along with that.
Yeah, benefits. All right, anything to add, Mandy?
No?
Mark?
No.
What about you, Vinny, from staff? Anything you'd like to bring up?
I don't think so. We're just rocking and rolling with 370 people a day.
That's phenomenal. You guys do a phenomenal job of getting guys out there. You know, we've been on the orphan list a few times, and you always manage to get
With
us
the
out.
way it's set up, we have plenty of flexibility to get people out without having it set up to get them out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Where if it's going good, we get people out. If it's slow, we don't have to, you know, get people out. So it works out well 99% of the time.
yeah. Well, you guys
I don't
do
think we've ever
a great job.
ran more than 7 or 8 minutes behind for
Yeah.
more than an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hardly ever.
Yeah.
You gotta give the secret to our doctor's offices. Jeez, sat in there for
What's
half an hour.
your feeling, Vinny, about like cancellations? Obviously, we don't enforce
It
cancellation fees.
is a mixed bag. I try to, we don't, you know, have anything official, but if I get someone that's a no-show and, you know, if you try to run their card, it gets blocked. So I like to, I don't know if you agree or not, I like to block their booking capability until they call in and they know there's a problem, and you give them a little guilt trip. And if it happens more often, I just click and block it, and you don't need to be booking anymore if you have 5 or 6 no-shows. And
Yeah.
I try my best to charge them, but it is a hard thing to do. Charge for no-shows, especially if their card isn't working on file.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it's a huge problem or not a huge problem. Obviously, it helps getting singles off.
It
To show up,
fluctuates, like there'll be a month where we get very little no-shows, and then you add in, like if it's raining or if it's, you know,
Yeah.
dewy,
Yeah.
you can't blame them for not,
Right.
you know, but then some people complain they can't cancel online, which they need to call in, and it's just, we do our best, and very little does a time go wasted. It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
very
yeah, it
often
doesn't feel like
until I
that's-
walk in.
And we don't have any. I mean, you read about the stuff going on in LA with they're trying to charge for it because in their municipal courses, their reservation businesses are taking all the times. The broker are taking all the times.
Yeah.
Do we feel like we have an issue with that or not? Or no?
If you asked officially, I'd say maybe. There's something odd that goes on that it may not be on an official level, but I would say, like, let's say if you got a tea time and you weren't gonna use it, you get your buddies to give it to you. Now, there's no paper trail of
Yeah,
them getting the money like that, like LA, but there's something similar that where people really get blocked out. Like Rick says, like he can't get a tea time in. You see the same people get tea times every week, and I can't prove it, but I see the pattern.
yeah.
I think that's
And-
people setting up bots. Like it's not like there's a real
Yeah.
black market. I think
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
yeah.
some techie people
Technically, people figure it
that
out.
are able
I don't
to.
see it as like LA. It's something
Yeah.
a little similar, but
Yeah.
Have some kind of AI that they're able to get it as soon as like the millisecond that it opens.
like I know a guy who's able on a Saturday to get, and I watch it every morning, able to get 10:30 and 10:39 back to back. When you can't get one, he can get two back to back.
The same guy is able to get two.
Three out of 4 weeks out of the month, he can do that.
Wow. Yeah, he's got something else set up now. He's catching both at the same time, not one at a time. He
And I-
wouldn't be able to get the second one.
I've heard a little trick is using an iPad or phone makes it way harder than using a computer.
Yeah, the computer is much better.
Mhm.
Because when I do it, I'm sitting at the computer and it's
With
a
your
touch
boss?
screen.
I'm just kidding.
With my boss.
Yeah.
No, I'm very hands-on. And I'm sitting there and the minute it goes, mouse pulls the time down and I catch it with my finger on the touch screen. That's how I get my tea time on the Thursday morning.
I had another techie person say that they open up 2 browsers and they bounce back and forth and they're able to catch one quicker than
Oh,
you
one
just
and-
on one.
Oh.
But I don't think you could do,
There's
you
not
could
much
do a
you-
million
Yeah,
I'm not
things.
saying
I check periodically, like on the consolidator websites, I never see anything anywhere that someone's like, you know, you can usually kind of find stuff there. I felt like a couple of years ago you could find things online elsewhere, but I can't see them anymore.
I think we just have a lot of techie people that
Yeah.
find little
Yeah.
holes and
But are you getting a lot of complaints of people who can't get a tea time that are
Oh,
residents?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, when you have 1,300
yeah,
registered residents,
and only so many tea times.
yeah.
That, Samantha, did I forward you that thing, a solicitation for a company? Did you check it out at all? or-
Yeah, we get those a lot. There certainly is other software for tea times. There's a new company that actually does waiting lists for tea times, which isn't something Forup does. It's called NoTeaFi. So we could basically, if you really want 8 o'clock on Monday and it's taken, you can sign up to be on the wait list and you could be number 1. And as soon as that person cancels, which Benny will say they do that often, I mean, it's like a mad rush to book. As soon as it's released, you can be notified and then it's your tea time. So they're definitely evolving with software. Wait lists is something Recreation heavily relies on. And it's helpful to gauge, to actually to see how many people are really looking at the tea times and what is your user group like, yeah. But I would say looking at our tea time software is helpful probably through the master plan process. There's a lot of options out there. Forup we use because we used them prior to COVID. For some functionality, and then we added in the tea sheet at the end of the day, and it was just easy because we already had a contract in place. It doesn't mean that they're the be-all, the end-all of software.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, another company works out a little better as far as price-wise and that kind of stuff. Because it's so competitive.
Yep, I think it's really
Play 'em
important to
against
shop
each other.
around. Absolutely.
All right, any other discussions?
My only comment to the committee is if you would like to consider the combo tea option. I think you guys have heard about it. If the staff's preference would be that the committee does opine on it. I don't feel like it's the pro shop or staff's decision if we want to allow that kind of setup within the pro shop to happen. because there's a printer and there's a whole functionality to it. So if the committee wants to consider it, we would need a majority vote to say, yes, let's hear about it. Otherwise, the committee can't act on it unless it's on the agenda in the future. So is it something
Just
you,
to get it on the card, is that what we're talking about? Like, what's the,
Just to discuss it?
so tonight, if you'd like to hear it at the August meeting, if the committee members can agree, let's at least get some more information from Jim. And he can come and do a quick presentation and the committee can decide one way or the other.
I don't mind hearing about it, but, it's not something I probably would consider, but I can see the merits in it.
is it getting a combo T rated, is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
well, they
Getting
are
rated?
rated.
So,
And he's got a formula, and you just plug it in and do all this stuff in it.
Well, I know that he approached the ladies club and Lewis club and we discussed it and said, no, we're not interested.
So before you guys get into any further discussion, the question tonight is, would the committee like to hear more information about it? Because it's really ultimately the committee needs to help staff say yes or no one way or the other.
I think we
Can
should
I-
keep it
can I-
open, because we don't have two of the committee members here that,
Well, and can I ask Benny what Benny thinks about the committees?
No.
It kind of,
Not tonight, it has to be on the agenda. So that would be the point of putting it on the agenda. You can fire away at Vinnie,
Who was bringing it up?
Jim Kemp,
Jim Camp.
Okay,
with the Exchange Club.
well, I guess he can come give comments.
Wasn't he going to be here?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be here tonight, even though, so here, the issue that we would have, if he came in August and he spoke for 3 minutes, the committee still cannot provide any direction. You cannot comment on public comment. It has to be on the agenda.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be on the agenda
Yeah,
tonight.
that's what.
No, I need the committee's direction. Members of the public can't drive what goes onto the agenda. We would need the committee to opine on the business of the
So
committee.
you're okay with it going on the agenda for the next meeting, right? Jim?
I'm okay with it, I'll
That's
listen.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will add that to the August meeting then. Thank you.
Entertaining a motion to adjourn?
I'll say.
Okay. We're out of here.
All right.